Today I'm announcing a surge of federal law enforcement into American communities plagued by violent crime. Thank you, families, for being here. Thank you.
President Trump says he's deploying more federal officers to cities like Chicago and Albuquerque in what the White House is calling Operation Legend to crack down on crime. The Attorney General says these officers will be with the FBI and drug enforcement, different than the DHS agents in Portland who've been clashing with protesters for weeks. Not only are federal officers being challenged on the street, but also in the courtroom. Today, the feds face their first legal test. Oregon's Attorney General argues the federal officers are using unlawful tactics against protesters in Portland, and a judge could make a ruling in the case at any moment. Here's Kylie Boshi.
Tall reinforced fencing and concrete barricades went up around the perimeter of the federal courthouse in downtown Portland after another night of protests. Inside the building, a federal judge heard arguments by video conference from Oregon's Attorney General, who's suing federal officers for using unlawful tactics.
We believe that these actions, if not restrained, will further escalate and, in fact, are further escalating and inciting violent confrontations.
Oregon's AG is seeking a temporary restraining order to restrict federal law enforcement in Portland after allegations federal officers in unmarked vans were arresting protesters without probable cause. The acting Secretary of Homeland Security previously suggested officers acted appropriately.
We do our best to identify who they are using that probable cause.
In newly filed court papers, the U.S. Department of Justice explained there are currently 114 federal law enforcement officers in Portland from multiple agencies. Since their arrival earlier this month, 28 officers have been injured defending federal buildings, including broken bones, eye and hearing damage, and a dislocated shoulder. Local, state, and congressional leaders argue the feds have only escalated the situation with their aggressive tactics, including tear gas and batons.
These examples of a secret police operating in a brutal manner against peaceful protesters is in every conceivable way unacceptable in our country.
A new lawsuit claims a Seattle man was beaten with a baton by a federal officer during protests in Portland. Federal officers have indicated they're not leaving after nightly clashes with protesters directly outside the federal courthouse. Oregon's AG is asking the judge to require federal officers to tell protesters who they are, why they're being arrested, and have probable cause to do so. The judge's decision is narrowly focused on that temporary restraining order. No matter how he rules, the case will not be resolved. Kyle Aboshi, KGW News.
Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler says he's attending tonight's protest to speak with demonstrators. It comes after an editorial in the Portland Tribune this weekend urging Wheeler and other city leaders to show up and listen to protesters in person to try to find a solution to the cycle of violence. Wheeler will meet with protesters at the corner of Southwest 3rd and Morrison near the Justice Center at 9 p.m. tonight. Meantime, Commissioner Joanne Hardesty slammed Portland police during a city council meeting. It happened earlier today as commissioners approved a resolution to immediately cease cooperation between Portland police and federal officers.
I want to make sure it's on the record. There are no riots. There are not people tearing things up downtown Portland. The little acts of resistance should never be responded to with the excessive force we see every night on our street. I am just appalled at the police bureau we have today, and hopefully I will be able to manage the police bureau so we have a better police bureau tomorrow.
That's not the only comment getting a lot of attention today. Hardesty told Marie Claire magazine, quote, "I believe Portland Police Bureau is lying about the damage or starting the fires themselves so that they have justification for attacking community members." The Portland Police Association responded to that on Facebook. President Daryl Turner wrote, "With statements like this, it has become completely clear that Commissioner Hardesty is part of the problem in Portland. Every one of the many videos we have seen confirms that small groups of rioters are starting the fires and trying to burn down buildings. I have invited elected officials to stand at the front lines with our officers during protests. Neither Commissioner Hardesty nor any other city council member has accepted that invitation." And just minutes ago, Portland Police Chief Chuck Lavelle responded to Hardesty on Twitter, writing, "Commissioner Hardesty's statement that police officers would commit the crime of arson in order to precipitate their violation of people's civil rights strains credulity. I'm interested in seeing what evidence she has to support her accusations." Now to the coronavirus pandemic. Oregon reported 264 new cases and 2 deaths today. The state's total is just shy of 15,400 cases and growing fast. So fast that Governor Brown issued another series of orders to try to slow the growth and may begin restricting tourists from hotspots. KGW's Pat Doris reports.
Oregon Governor Kate Brown targeted businesses and venues where people gather in large groups. The governor cut indoor gatherings down to 100 from 250. That affects large bars and restaurants and gyms statewide. Those working out in gyms also must wear face coverings at all times. They were allowed to keep them off when they were huffing and puffing. The governor may require a quarantine period for tourists from hotspots, and she will require children 5 and older to wear masks inside public buildings. And yes, that means during school if they return to the classroom.
It's up to all of us to do our part to look out for one another. Oregon, we are going to get through this together.
The governor's new orders come as Oregon's coronavirus cases continue to surge. The positive tests now come back in the hundreds each day. And it's not just because the volume of tests is higher, the positive rate is increasing too. Testing for the virus is up to 39,000 people for last week. And since the outbreak began, nearly 15,400 have been infected, 271 have died. One helpful trend, hospitals are not getting overrun with COVID patients.
Hospitalizations continue to rise, but not as fast as our new infections, in part because we're seeing more cases of COVID-19 amongst younger people who tend to be healthier going into the illness and have milder symptoms.
The state epidemiologist said large company outbreaks are making up a smaller part of statewide infections. The governor said some of it is the fault of visitors, which is why she may take an unprecedented step.
I've already directed my team and the Oregon Health Authority to evaluate the process for restricting tourist travel into Oregon from the states with high infection rates or requiring mandatory quarantine for people coming here from hotspots.
The governor did have one piece of good news. Long-term senior care centers, which have been locked down for months now, are going to start allowing outdoor visitation, but only at centers that have no cases of COVID-19. In Northeast Portland, Pat Doris, KGW News.
Washington and California made big announcements on high school sports this week. And today we heard from the Oregon School Activities Association. After meeting for the last 3 days, the OSAA will push back the start of fall sports. Cross country, volleyball, and soccer will tentatively be able to start on September 23rd. Football is considered a full contact activity, and per state guidelines, it is currently banned. The OSAA says football guidelines will need to be lifted by September 28th in order to have a modified season. Another meeting is scheduled for August 3rd.